The NFC West, the NFC entirely, the entire NFL could look massively different in 2022 and beyond with some of the developments happening. Sean Payton, what's the future of Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady in this conference? And oh yeah, which team is playing for the conference championship? Yeah, it's your San Francisco 49ers in LA on this very special Winky Wednesday edition coming up right now.
You are Locked On 49ers, your daily San Francisco 49ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On 49ers. It's Wednesday. Well, it's Tuesday evening on YouTube, getting the podcast up early. A very special guest that joins us for every Wednesday episode here on Locked On 49ers. Going to join Crocker and I in just a second. Brian Peacock and Eric Crocker with you at BD Peacock, at Eric_Crocker on Twitter. And now let's bring on today's guest.
Nick Winkler, come on down.
Yo,
what's up?
What's up, Wink? You ready for another NFC Championship game? Can you believe what's going on with these underdog San Francisco 49ers? The train will not stop rolling all the way to SoFi.
Yeah, I don't know if my heart can take it, man. It's just another one of those things where that game on Saturday was just unbelievable. It just felt like it got out of hand early on that opening drive. And you're like, are they ever going to recover from this? Defense steps up. Special teams was unbelievable. My wife just kept looking at me after the block punt by Willis. She's just like, what? Why was that so incredible? I'm like, that just doesn't happen. Like you don't see a block punt for a touchdown in a playoff game to tie up a game. Like it just doesn't, and especially doesn't happen for the 49ers. Like I've never seen anything like that. I was just in disbelief. I think I'm still. Yeah, the timing was just incredible.
You can't score on offense. You know, it'd be really great. A blocked punt for a touchdown. Is that too much to ask? Oh, here you go. Here you go, 49ers.
Sure.
How about a free 7 points that you can't earn one yourselves?
And then the blocked field goal right before the half, too. I mean, right after Jimmy blows it, in the red zone. Like, it was just, like you said, super timely on both. That was incredible.
That was one of the things that blew my mind in that Packers game is how up and down everybody was. George Kittle has this huge drop on what could have been a 64-yard touchdown. Then he makes an amazing catch on the sideline. Jimmy Ward gets the blocked field goal after he lets a blown coverage, lets Aaron Jones have this long reception on him on defense. Jimmy Garoppolo is throwing dimes at the beginning of the game. Nobody can catch him. Then he throws all these turnover-worthy throws, an interception, and almost two more. And then in the 2-minute drill at the end of the game to get him down into field goal range, then he's throwing darts again. And it's just like up and down. Everybody was good and everybody was bad. It was unbelievable. The defense lets the Packers go right through, a hot knife through butter down the field. It was like, oh, bleep, what is going on with this team right now? They're going to get blown out today. And then 3 points the rest of the game. It was crazy.
Has there ever been a more controversial quarterback in the NFL than Jimmy Garoppolo, with just how much people are split, whether it's a fan base, whether it's the media? Everybody is just so split on what he is. I've never seen anything like it before.
No, and it's funny because everyone's searching for a clue and whatever statistic, whether it's just wins or, EPA per play or PFF grades or, anything you can find to try to quantify what's going on and who Jimmy Garoppolo is. And somehow he just doesn't fit into any of that for anybody. And there's people who believe in him, people who can't stand Jimmy, want him gone. It's pretty unbelievable. I haven't seen anything really like it. And the fans are always asking. I've got a bunch of questions here for our mailbag segment today. And a lot of people want to know about Jimmy. And the questions are, how come he's still the quarterback? And is he going to be our quarterback in 2022 if he wins the Super Bowl? And it's like, it can't be further apart on the spectrum. We talked about it last week with Richard Sherman's comments and then Chris Sims' comments, and it's pretty remarkable, man. It is unbelievable. And then if we bring it up on the show, I know I'm going to get one or the other. If we came up today, all three of us are like, man, Jimmy Garoppolo is awesome. All he does is win. He's an amazing quarterback. There would be angry people in my mentions as soon as this podcast is posted. And if we said, man, Jimmy is trash, the 49ers are winning despite Jimmy. He's holding the back. They would be so much better without Jimmy. There would be people in my mentions super mad about it and telling me how they're turning off the podcast because we started talking about Jimmy and we took one side or the other, and that's not the side that they're on. It's unbelievable.
No, it is. And I'm looking at the media, and I had Nick Wright. I watched a video of him, and it was kind of comparing. I don't think they were trying to compare Josh Allen and Jimmy Garoppolo, but I think they were trying to make their argument again. Like you were saying, finding any stats to kind of back your argument on why quarterback wins isn't truly a stat, or at least it doesn't tell the total picture. So Nick Wright's question was, who was better at their job? Josh Allen, who lost, or Jimmy Garoppolo, who won? I thought the way he phrased that was awesome. I posted it to Twitter and muted the conversation and let everybody kind of run wild with that one. I see my guy Darius Butler. Darius Butler, he's posting videos of Jimmy Garoppolo saying, man, he's just a winner. I love Jimmy Garoppolo, like yada, yada, yada. And then I see in his mentions, Mina Kimes is being tagged and people are calling her a clown and that she doesn't know what she's talking about because she doesn't care for the wins from Jimmy Garoppolo. I've never seen something more divisive other than maybe like Donald Trump at president. Like this is it's like Donald Trump at president and then Jimmy Garoppolo. Like
that's pretty nuts. It's basically Jimmy Garoppolo's a Rorschach test, and that's what he has become. And it's pretty amazing, even amongst 49ers fans, where he's got him in the NFC Championship game. What do you think, Wink? 3 in a row? This is something maybe that I'm stinking on a little bit. I know there's no wink in the stink for you because the team is in this position to go to a Super Bowl. One of the things that bothers me is people keep talking about how hard it is to win 3 games in a row. The 49ers don't have to win 3 games in a row. They have to win 1 game. The other 2 games this year were won. Those games are over. They have 0 bearing on it. This is 1 game. The 49ers have to win 1 game. That's what the odds they have to beat are. Can you win 1 game? The past does not matter when it comes to those games. They don't have to win all 3 games. If you said, hey, the 49ers have to win 3 games in a row against the Rams starting now, that would be a lot more difficult than just winning 1 game. They don't have to win 3 anymore. I don't want to hear about the 3 games. It does not matter.
The 49ers literally just won 3 games that they had to win, right? I mean, week 18, they had to win that game against LA to get in. They had to win against Dallas to keep going. They had to win against Green Bay. I mean, this team, when their back's against the wall, that defense especially just shows up. And to get back to that Jimmy Garoppolo point that you were making, I'm sick of hearing about it because the guy is your quarterback. Everybody on that offense, probably on the entire team, will tell you he's a leader. He has confidence. He may not deliver all the time, but if you believe the guy that's leading you, the guy that's in the huddle, calling out the plays, and he's got the confidence of everybody around him, we should all have it too as fans. Yeah, I get it. Trey Lance is this shiny new toy, but who knows what could happen if he's put into the game? Like, live in the now. Jimmy Garoppolo is the quarterback. He's taken your team to 2 NFC Championship games in 3 years. What were the Niners doing before Jimmy Garoppolo got there? Like, enough. That I am stinking on that. Enough. Leave the man alone. Love Jimmy Garoppolo.
Is on fire.
I'm stinking on that too. That's the part that I don't get. The people that think like, oh, I'm just gonna magically throw Trey Lance into this situation, and all of a sudden, already everything's just gonna be, rolling, and 49ers offense is gonna be unstoppable. Like, I'm not throwing no rookie into this. Like, you gotta ride it out with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. If he was ready, he'd already be the starting quarterback of the 49ers. Like, obviously, Kyle doesn't think he's ready to be there. He believes in Jimmy. Let's all believe in Jimmy.
I don't even think it's that. I mean, yeah, obviously, that's part of it. But when it's like, what is ready, right? And we've had this conversation about Trey Lance. Like, what does it mean for Trey Lance to be ready? And there's a different kind of ready. Are you ready to be the quarterback of the Jaguars who have no expectations? Yeah. Right. Are you ready to be the quarterback of a team with 1 game to get to the Super Bowl? Like, hell no. Like, you got to go with Jimmy Garoppolo in that situation. There's no rookie that has 2 starts under their belt that you're going to be like, yeah, don't worry about it. You're ready to start this big game. Oh, SoFi Stadium, millions and millions of people watching, but don't worry about it. I know you have limited experience, limited throws, limited reps. Don't worry about any of that. You're ready for this. Like, no. So I think that's when people throw in Trey Lance into this situation, that's ridiculous to me.
Right.
And I've seen that. And you've never, from the time the 49ers were down 17-0 against the Rams, even then, the words Trey Lance needs to be in the game never came out of my mouth. Never. And I'm probably one of the biggest Trey Lance supporters of, hey, he needs to play, but not in these situations. The Trey Lance needs to play. They had their opportunity to do that and get him in the mix there. It's not now. Like, that time is not now. Right now, you need Jimmy Garoppolo. You need his veteran experience. You need his leadership. You need his ability, and you got to write it out. With whatever happens, it happens. That's it.
Agreed. 100%.
I almost feel bad that I brought it up because it's always just like it's so funny when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo and the different opinions and the different debates that can happen. And we can talk about it every single day. That's what's unbelievable. But yeah, the Trey Lance ball had to get rolling a lot longer ago than right now. And I don't know how much it helps the rest of the team sprinkling that magic leadership dust, but the team believes and they're winning games right now, and he's the guy, period. And so that's who's going to be at quarterback for the 49ers. And there's not even going to be a Trey Lance package, it looks like. I would be shocked if there was, if he stepped on the field at all the rest of the way, even if the 49ers do win a Super Bowl. So next, I want to talk about, actually, I kind of do want to talk about Trey Lance's 49ers in the NFC in the future. What is that going to look like? No Sean Payton with the Saints. They've been a juggernaut in the NFC for a long time. Potentially no GOAT, no Hall of Famers to battle against in the playoffs. If you get there, if you're the 49ers in the future with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. So what could that potentially look like? And we'll get into the mailbag as well coming up. But first, I want to let the folks know about onlinegambling.com. And I thought the Green Bay Packers had the best chance of winning the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago when we checked in on some of those predictions. They were the 1 seed for a reason, but they are no longer in the playoffs. They were one and done as the 1 seed. So were the Titans in the AFC. And so those San Francisco 49ers now are my prediction to win the Super Bowl because guess what? They've got the best defense in the NFL. We're all looking for an edge these days, and I'd like to thank onlinegambling.com for sponsoring today's podcast. If you don't know already, onlinegambling.com is a website dedicated to giving bettors the edge throughout the playoffs. They're providing you with the best NFL tips, news, and more to help make your bets as informed as ever. So if, for example, you think the 49ers are going to go win another road game, which is actually a home game for them, it looks like, you can find that and you can get your best edge possible at onlinegambling.com. If you're planning on placing a bet during the playoffs, make sure you head over to onlinegambling.com before you do. Onlinegambling.com gives bettors the edge by providing the best and most trusted experience online all day, every day. That includes their OG tips section where you'll find their own Super Bowl picks, as well as the inside track on how to beat the odds throughout the NFL playoffs. So make sure you visit onlinegambling.com/NFL for all the latest gambling news, tips, and odds to give you the edge throughout the playoffs. Remember, onlinegambling.com/NFL to make the most of this year's playoffs. Woo! What do we think about the NFC next year? No Sean Payton, potentially no Aaron Rodgers, potentially no Tom Brady. How wide open is that path for the 49ers? And do you agree with my statement? I think I just said the 49ers are the best defense in the NFL. I meant they have the best defense left in the playoffs. And who knows, next year they could have the best defense in the NFL, especially if D'Amico Ryans comes back. And I feel like that's getting less and less likely by the day. Yeah. But juggernaut defense for the 49ers coming back next year. Trey Lance, his first full year as a starter. And I'm talking 2022. I'm talking beyond. Like the 49ers in a really good spot right now, right? To potentially dominate even the NFC, right? You get these guys out of there that are in the playoff. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers have been in the NFC Championship game every single year for damn near 20 years. They're going to be gone. Sean Payton, one of the best coaches in the NFL, is going to be gone. The AFC has Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and the AFC has Justin Herbert and
Joe Burrow,
Lamar Jackson, right? Like the NFC,
Joe Burrow, even Mac Jones. I mean, throw Mac Jones in there too.
the NFC is the place to be. This thing's wide open for Kyle Shanahan and Trey Lance. If that marriage is legit, they could be doing this thing for a while. And we could be talking a lot about football games in January in the future.
I'd say the one tough thing with the 49ers, you start kind of looking ahead a little bit. Some of their players are getting a little old. So, you look at, there's a few guys, I'm always looking at the secondary. Tart, Ward, and Williams are all pushing 30 years old now. Mm-hmm. So they're starting to get a little, old, long in the tooth. Armstead, not quite there, but, there are some guys where they're going to have to start figuring out, okay, what is the kind of replacement plan for some of these guys that have played good football for a lot of years, but now, and they've been contributing heavily to this great defense that we're seeing on the field right now. But as you get older, you start losing the step a little bit. Guys become more and more of a liability. Those are things that they're going to have to start to, figure out. Maybe, there's Hufunga, guys like that who will eventually step up. But that is one thing I kind of look at. It is prime for them to take over as long as Trey Lance is even serviceable, right? I mean, not to put down Jimmy G or anything that Jimmy G is, but you look, they're able to win playoff games with him averaging 120 passing yards a game, no touchdowns and like an interception. So if you can win with that with Jimmy Garoppolo, what's the bare minimum that Trey Lance can do and you still end up being a playoff team? I think the chances are pretty high that the 49ers get in the mix pretty much every year. Who are the young NFC quarterbacks? Kyler Murray, maybe. Right. Dak Prescott.
Yeah, Murray and Dak, and Murray didn't end the season well. There's, Stafford and, I mean, who knows, maybe even Russell Wilson's not going to be around for very long in the NFC, even if he plays for a long time, but they're both in their 30s, Stafford and Russell Wilson. You've got some
wild
quarterbacks, but, nobody that's, like a team like the Bears, if Justin Fields turns out to be something, and they just hired their GM from the Chiefs today. So if they end up with the right head coach there, maybe they could be, in a similar situation to the 49ers, but they're further behind to start than Trey Lance's 49ers are in 2022.
Take a look at the NFC South. I mean, who are there going to be 4 new starting quarterbacks?
It's going to be the worst. It'll be the worst division in football if Brady retires.
Yeah. But what if someone like Aaron Rodgers ends up on the Buccaneers?
I think there's a 0% chance that the Packers would trade him to the NFC. I think he retires or he's in the AFC. Or he's on the
What if he doesn't want to retire and he still wants to play? You think he'd sit out a year? Like he doesn't want to play on the Packers anymore.
I think he would have, it would just have to be the Broncos or whatever. It would have to be an AFC team. I don't think the Packers aren't going to send him to an NFC team. I would be shocked.
I think the tough thing with him is you're probably gonna have to trade him where he wants to go. And he seems like a very difficult person. Like whenever these negotiations start going down, he's going to be very specific about what he wants. And if they're not willing to do that, I think things can go kind of haywire. So I think that I don't know. I leave everything open. It's going to be whatever A-Rod wants, I'm assuming. Because remember what Antonio Brown did, right? When Pittsburgh was talking about trading him, and the first team that came up was Buffalo, and they're like, "Oh, we're trading him to Buffalo." He was like, "I'm going to Buffalo," and they had to kind of like turn that whole thing down. It was kind of a weird situation. Which now you look at it and what Josh Allen ended up being is like, hey, maybe that would have been kind of good for you in your
missed
career.
The boat.
Yeah, he missed the boat for sure. But at that time, that's crazy to see where Josh Allen is now, and he's like, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. At that time, he was just this wild card type quarterback that nobody knew what the hell he was. He was extremely kind of erratic, even though they had just went to the playoffs.
Yeah, somebody who got it was Stephon Diggs. I remember when he first signed there, I was like, oh man, what's he thinking? He's going from the Vikings playing on turf with Kirk Cousins, and he's going to go play in Buffalo. Are we ever going to hear from Stephon Diggs?
Josh Allen?
Yeah, exactly. Like this wild card, this young guy who is like 60% accuracy. It's crazy.
It was less than that. It was like 54%. Like his first 2 years combined was like 54%. Yeah.
You're right.
I actually just saw a breakdown that went all the way back to JV Fireball High School stats for Josh Allen and his progression in his completion percentage. And it was like JV Fireball High School, 52%, varsity for 2 years, 58%, then Reedley Junior College, 48%. And then Wyoming, the first year, 52, then 56%. Then first year in Buffalo, 58%. And then jumped up to 68%
No,
in 2020.
52 his first year in Buffalo, 58 his second year in Buffalo. And I watched the game because, this was heading into Trey Lance's second start. And I'm just like, okay, Trey Lance was a little erratic in the first game. What does it look like? Like, let me see what it looked like from Josh Allen in his second game. And I think I even clicked on, it wasn't even a second, it was like his fourth start. And he was playing against the Packers. And I was watching it. I was just like, what the hell? This is some of the worst quarterbacking I've ever seen. Like, it was just, throwing passes all over the place. Okay, I'm just going to just chuck it deep and I throw it 10 yards over everybody's head. He tried to run away from every sack. He got sacked like 6 times, but a lot of it was just him I don't even know what the hell he was doing. It was so terrible. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if Trey Lance looks anything like this against Houston, 49ers are going to be in trouble. And obviously Trey Lance, even his first half, like if Buffalo would have 100% taken that first half from Trey Lance, which was still kind of like, okay, eye test says, a little weird. They would have taken that over whatever the hell it was I saw from Josh Allen, because that was terrible.
Yeah.
So to see where he is now, he's like the best quarterback in the league. And now people are like, man, I just hope Trey Lance is 5% of what we see from Josh Allen. I'm like, man, if you wouldn't been saying that with the games I just watched.
And Lance isn't nearly as wild as Josh Allen was coming out of college either. So a ton to work with there. So what I'm hearing from you guys is this is the beginning of a new dynasty for the 49ers, right? We can all agree
that sounds right. Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, I think so.
I have a lot of faith in Kyle Shanahan.
I do too. I do too. There's going to be players open for Josh Allen, or for now I'm calling him Josh Allen, for Trey Lance to throw to. And I don't want to put the Josh Allen thing on him, but right now he's the hot name and big, strong, big armed, athletic quarterback. You can do a lot with that. And I think Kyle Shanahan will be able to do a lot with that as well.
We didn't even mention Deshaun Watson. Obviously we don't know what's going to go on with that situation, but that's a whole nother puzzle piece to the puzzle with all this stuff. But I will say this, and I thought of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I thought of Deshaun Watson because of his in Josh Allen's year 2, 58% passer, but Buffalo went to the playoffs and they played against each other. It was Watson versus Allen. Remember, Buffalo jumped out to a 16-0 lead and Watson had that miraculous comeback. But even if the 49ers were able to get, in Trey Lance's year 2, if it looks like Josh Allen's year 2, I think people would be happy with that after what we've seen from Jimmy Garoppolo and,
no
back-to-back full season NFC Championship appearances.
Yeah, because you would realize the sky's the limit and the ceiling would be just so much higher for the 49ers offense in that regard. Even if there's rookie mistakes and even if there's mistakes, you would see how much better it could potentially get. So it's exciting. So next year is going to be a heck of a lot of fun. And to answer the questions, and I keep getting them, and I had one on today's. Can you trade Jimmy Garoppolo if you win the Super Bowl? Yes, you absolutely can.
And you can. I don't think they will.
Oh, they will. They absolutely will.
Nah.
Real quick, guys. Here's Josh Allen's year 2 passing stats. Well, first of all, the team was 10-6, so that's awesome. He was a 58% completion percentage guy. He barely passed over 3,000 yards. It was 3,089 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
That's solid. But what were his rushing stats? He had 1,000 yards and 900.
Let me
another 10 touchdowns.
Regular season. What are the rushing numbers at?
This is year 2, 2019.
Yeah,
that's where he was valuable. Yeah. He just led my fantasy team to a championship, so I will forever love Josh Allen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. 2019 rushing stats. 510 yards, 9 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So 29 total touchdowns.
Solid.
3,500 total yards. Take that. 49ers 10-7, maybe losing a wild card round, but Trey Lance does it. You guys are optimistic about the future. That's what you see.
Yeah, absolutely. If that's the path that Trey Lance is on, and he does that well in his first full season as a starter, I think that would be a huge success and be really exciting times. Absolutely. with the 49ers defense, even if things don't go great and they lose, say, D'Amico Ryans and they lose some pieces and some older players, as you were talking about earlier, Croc, the 49ers will be in great shape as long as Trey Lance is not a bust. Like he's got to be okay. As long as he doesn't look like, oh my God, this guy's
I
years
think
away.
so far what he has shown, even with the Cardinals game, I didn't get the sense that this is a bust, right?
No,
like I never saw anything to where it's like this guy can't play football. You know,
there's no Jamarcus
some of these
Russell
other guys.
there.
Some of these other guys we've watched, some of these other rookies, is like, let's praying for better days. I'm pretty sure they're organized. I didn't get that sense from Trey Lance. The sense I got early on, even in the Arizona game, was like, okay, like, he still almost had 300 yards. Like, it was a close game. Obviously, defense kept him in it, but it was like, okay, first game on the road against this team. Like, okay. And then you see the Houston game and you start to see him settle down and you see his ability, and it's like, he's going to be all right. He's going to be all right. Now just keep building on that.
I think so.
Yep.
Absolutely. To the point where people were saying should he start against LA? To the point where people are like, we need to play him in this Packers game, right? Because they are optimistic from what they've seen. So I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Agree 100%. All right. We're going to get to a couple questions here in the mailbag coming up. But first, I want to let the listeners know about Get Upside. Our listeners are earning cash back every time they get gas, every single gallon, every time they fill up. All you got to do the same is get the Get Upside app for free. Download it in the App Store, Google Play right now, and use promo code Touchdown for 25 cents per gallon or more on your first fill up. This is just free cash back when you're getting gas, folks, and you're already doing it anyway. So why not get a little extra cash back for it? Don't pay full price at the pump anymore. Get cash back using Get Upside. Just download the app for free and use promo code Touchdown for that 25 cents per gallon or more on your first tank. Some people who drive a lot are making as much as $200-$300 a year in cash back, and there's no catch. The cash back gets added right into your account. You can cash out anytime into your bank account. You can cash out into PayPal. You can get an e-gift card, whatever you want. Just download the free Get Upside app. Use promo code Touchdown to get 25 cents per gallon or more cash back on your first tank. That is promo code Touchdown. Speaking of cars and driving, you know what's in my glove box? Built bars. You always need that snack in the car. That way you don't hit the drive-through and derail your diet. If your New Year's resolution is still at this late stage of January going well for yourself, then you're in pretty good shape. And that means you probably have Built Bars as part of your plan. So don't let that get derailed just because you got a little hunger in your tummy while you're driving around in your car. Keep a Built Bar in the glove box. Put one in your golf bag. Put it in your brief backpack. Have one in your desk at work so you can get a healthy snack that is delicious when you go looking for that snack. When that little twinge hits you in the back of your brain, says, I need myself a little bit of snack right now, go get yourself a Built Bar. Most Built Bars contain only 130 calories, only 4 grams of sugar, only 4 net carbs, but a whopping 17 grams of protein. So you can feel good about it, and it keeps you satisfied. Plus, Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate, and that is very, very important. So go to built.com. Use promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your order. That is promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at built.com. Back up a little bit, Wink. Did you just say that you think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starting quarterback? I thought we were done talking about Jimmy G, but you seem pretty adamant. Niners win a Super Bowl, Jimmy G's back, but not if the Niners lose the Super Bowl. Like, what's the sliding scale?
Yeah, so I think that's it.
Anything other than winning a Super Bowl, Jimmy gets traded. Win a Super Bowl, Jimmy is for sure back, starting quarterback, week 1, 2022.
I 100% believe that. If you win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo and he just went to one 2 years ago, you're going to bring the guy back. Like, I get it. He's going to be very expensive. You got this whole, you invested a lot in Trey Lance, but they want to win football games, and Jimmy Garoppolo wins football games. And if he wins a championship, mark my words, he will be the starting quarterback next year for the 49ers. Unless somebody comes at him with like 3 first-round picks for Garoppolo, but I don't see that happening.
Wink, I don't see them coming at him with 3 first-round picks, and he's 100%. He's not coming back. I don't think it matters what he does. We're watching the game. Like, you watch the games. Right?
Oh yeah.
And when
there's some scary moments.
You watch the game, Yeah. So the same thing you're thinking, right? These scary moments, like, and how small your wiggle room is. Like, you have very little wiggle room with him at quarterback. Kyle Shanahan, for all those reasons, right? What did he do in the offseason? He looked into Matthew Stafford. He wanted to replace him with Matthew Stafford. He wanted to replace him with Deshaun Watson. And he couldn't. When he couldn't do those two things, he went to replace him with a rookie. And the only thing that stopped him from playing the rookie right now is just, hey, I need to get this rookie up to speed in my difficult ass offense. So once like this, it's Jimmy. He's able to get by with Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's
don't
getting
forget
by,
too.
like,
after Jimmy let him do a Super Bowl, they kicked the tires on Tom Brady. So this isn't anything new.
That's what I'm saying.
He's like, a cockroach, man. He just keeps surviving. Like, you cannot kill this man. Like, he is going to keep being the starting quarterback of your team if you win a championship. It's going to happen.
So you're saying Jimmy Garoppolo is going to show up to the facility in July for training camp and right alongside of Dr. Johnson, right?
Yeah, no.
Exactly.
Kyle knows. I bet Kyle, him game planning, it's probably like, have y'all seen that video, that picture, that meme of the guy, like, on the board doing all that?
Yeah. All the math,
all the papers on the board. And and it's like, okay. Like, that's him trying to figure out, how the hell do I win this game with this guy? And it's not to say that he's Nick Mullins. It's not to say that he's CJ Beathard or Brian Hoyer. Clearly, he's better than those guys, right? But what's the biggest difference between him and Brian Hoyer? I think the biggest difference, because someone told me, like, Croc, 7 out of 9 games with Brian Hoyer, they lost by 3 or less points. And I think the biggest difference is Jimmy got that clutch factor. And that clutch factor allows him to win games. But it's not ideal. So once you put all that draft capital into your young guy, like, that was it. The writing's on the wall. Matter of fact, we didn't bring this up as a topic. Kyle Shanahan just said as much. He said something in his press conference today, like, basically, everybody knows what the situation is. We've been cut clear. We know exactly what it is. It's better that it's out there in the open, so everybody understands that we could just go about our business and do what we got to do this year and move on next year. Like, it's over. Yeah. It don't matter what happens.
I'm listening to you guys talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I keep saying it doesn't matter. All the things you guys are bringing up are accurate, but it doesn't matter because they already put this plan into motion when they traded for Trey Lance. Like, you can sit him for a year, but that's it. It's over. Trey Lance is the quarterback of the future. They already made that decision, and you can't go back.
I hope you're right.
You can't press the undo button on that unless Jimmy's so great in this Super Bowl and Mike McDaniel or DeMeco Ryans go get a head coaching job somewhere and they want to give you 4 first-round picks for Trey Lance, right? And you want to keep Jimmy Garoppolo, right? But it's just not going to happen. So what Jimmy does from here on out doesn't matter. Everybody knows. Jimmy knows himself. He said it's in his own head, and he knows, and he's thinking about it. He knows there's only a couple games left. He's done. Jimmy's done. After this, whatever happens, it's Trey Lance's team in the future. They already put that plan into place. So whatever Jimmy does doesn't matter. So that it's not even worth
one game's not going to change that.
Right.
Like one game, like the Super Bowl, like whether he wins or loses the Super Bowl, that's not going to change that, right? Just like there's some people that are like, hey, man, if Jimmy Garoppolo completes that throw to Emmanuel Sanders in the Super Bowl, we're not even having this conversation. I think we are, because everything that transpired after that, whether it's the injuries, whether it's still kind of like limited, things, like I don't think it's like, oh, man, he missed this one throw, so let's look into Tom Brady. Oh, man, he missed this one throw, so let's look into Matthew Stafford and Deshaun Watson. Like, one throw isn't going to sway you like one way as it goes to like keeping somebody long term. I don't think so.
The only question
y'all think one throw would change?
I think if they won the Super Bowl, I think it would have. They never would have drafted Trey Lance. No, never would have happened. I fully believe that. That was huge. If they win that Super Bowl and he's a Super Bowl winner, I don't think 2 years later they're making all the deals.
They already said no to Tom Brady in the 2020 offseason after the Super Bowl, right? So that was already that was the goodwill that Jimmy brought along with him. So I don't think it would have gone higher than saying no to the best quarterback of all time. But 2020 happened, and then that's when everything else happened. And so with all no matter what happened in 2019, 2020 was going to happen. And I think that's really what informed the 49ers to go do what they did more so than what happened in 2019. And so my only question is, when the 49ers do trade Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm wondering if they'd be willing to trade him to the NFC because, I mean, how much would the Green Bay Packers be willing to give up for a quarterback that can win a playoff game, right?
Oh.
All right, let's move on here to
Nice.
Trent Williams Stan account on Twitter. He says, Peacock, Trey most definitely can throw bombs that Allen can and has as much velocity as anyone in the league. We've seen Trey Lance throw a little bit now. What do you think? As much as anyone. We're talking Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes level of velocity with just pure arm. I say no on that. And he doesn't have to have that because those are ridiculous arms. He's got a good arm and he's got plenty of arm. He doesn't have to have Josh Allen level arm, and I don't think he does.
No.
I think it's probably
we haven't seen it.
It looks top 5, but Allen is like 1. It's like you got Allen, you got Mahomes who does some crazy stuff with his arm. I remember the first year he was coming in and starting, and he threw a post to Tyreek Hill in the preseason. And I was like, oh my goodness, right? So Trey Lance has some stuff to him. I don't know. And we'll see, right? Because I talked about it too. Like the last full season we've seen of Trey Lance, he was 19 years old. Like next time we see him start a game for the 49ers, he's going to be 22. So,
I mean, dude's still going through puberty.
Yeah, that's
let's be honest.
He has developed. I've seen a change in his arm strength and velocity just from 19 to 21. And I'd assume, I asked the guy, like, how long, does your arm continue to get better? My guy, Greg Pinelli, says you start hitting that peak around 25, 26. So if there is any kind of stronger arm in him, it's getting bigger. So, that's, we'll see. But I think his arm is stronger than what it was in college. That's for sure. Yeah.
Is in an NFL weight room for a full season now, and he's just naturally getting bigger and getting older, and like wait till he gets that dad strength, right?
Remember, think about you at 19 years old. Like, what did you look like at 19 from a physical standpoint?
Like I said, still going through puberty.
I was ripped and had a cannon of an arm at 19. All downhill. I was rail skinny. I was so skinny when I was 19 years old. It's unbelievable to think back how little body fat was on me at 19 years old. I was skinny and fast, and my arm got stronger. Like everything got stronger. Yeah. That strength is real. I'm still getting stronger every single day. I might not look it, but I'm getting stronger. Heavier for sure.
Right. We're all there.
All right, let's finish up on this one. Any idea, this is from Bruce on Twitter, any idea how the Packers' weak run defense kept the 49ers in check? Does the All-22 say something? Seems like Green Bay's defensive coordinator deserves nearly as much praise as D'Amico, if not more. That was one of the big surprises for me in that game was how the 49ers got beat up front. And I think it was just straight up the Packers' defensive line did a number on the 49ers' offensive line. And clearly weather was a factor. And the Packers, knowing they could sell it against the run, not worried about probably some big throws from a certain quarterback, and knowing what the game plan was going to be for the 49ers, seeing how games had gone in the past against the 49ers, that was all week in defensive meetings for the Packers. We are going to be nasty. We're going to beat them up front. We are going to stop the run because we absolutely have to. So I don't think it was anything else other than they were motivated. And they put resources there. They had guys in the box, and their defensive line played awesome. I don't think it was any secret method to their madness stopping the run. Croc, did you see anything?
I just thought they kind of loaded the box. And I was talking with someone about the Packers, before the game, and I said, if I was the Packers, I would just load the box and say, hey, Jimmy, can you beat us with your arm? And I'm gonna do everything to stop the run, make you beat us over the top. And see if he can do it. Now, if you do early on, right, if Jimmy does beat them over the top early on, okay, then I'll make my adjustments. But my game plan going in would be, I'm stopping that run. And it looked like that's what they tried to do. And they said, all right, 49. I think that was the worst first quarter, damn near first half of football I've ever seen from the 49ers under Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, and you mix all that up with Trent Williams basically playing on one leg for most of that game, too. I think that really hurt the Niners' rush offense.
Are we worried?
Tom Compton playing on both legs and still not matter.
Just playing, period.
That was one of the biggest wins in that game for the Packers was Rashawn Gary versus Tom Compton. How worried are we? Let's finish up here. How worried are we about Trent Williams and his availability being up in the air? It's not a broken ankle, but it's a sprain. And Kyle Shanahan seemed pretty optimistic about Deebo Samuel, did not seem as optimistic about Trent Williams playing against the Rams. Now, the 49ers beat the Rams without Trent Williams once. Can they do it again? Does that worry you? Because to be honest with you, I just want to see him in the backfield more, play him at fullback.
Right? Set him in motion.
I'd love that. Give me more of that stuff.
Yes, please. He's playing 100%. Even if he doesn't last the whole game, he'll be out there. Come on. This is Trent Williams. This is Silverback. Come on. He'll be there.
Jason says, we beat the Rams last time without Trent. This time will be a different game. Can we do it? Worst case scenario without him. All I want for my birthday is Niners to stay in LA for 2 more weeks. I'm with you, Jason. I hope the 49ers can do that. I don't know. The 49ers have been able to get away with some injuries this year. They did with Trent Williams before. Obviously, you would rather have him in there, but I'm with you, Jason, and I hope you get a happy birthday present. It's my birthday tomorrow, by the way, guys.
Hey, happy birthday.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. That's it. Let's get out of here. Wink, thanks so much for joining us, as always, on another very special Winky Wednesday.
My pleasure, gentlemen.
Thanks, everyone, for making us your first listen. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NFL Draft podcast with Eric Crocker. Check out the Peacock and Williamson NFL show featuring myself and former NFL scout Matt Williamson. You can find Locked On Bets talking about the sports betting world, hosted by your boy Q. Your team, no matter the sport, is covered. If you want to talk about how Barry Bonds was, again, snubbed from the Hall of Fame, you can go listen to Locked On Giants, and I'm sure Ben Kaspik's going to be talking a lot about that. No matter your team, no matter your sports, covered right here on the network. Croc and I back tomorrow. It's crossover Thursday time. Brand new host of Locked On Rams, Travis Rodgers, that we will be introducing to you listeners. Talk to you then right here. Locked On 49ers.
See you.